build up walls and charter plans. Take some mad, 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 mad to build up walls and charter plans. Do you abide by laws? Do you write your laws? Do you abide by laws? Do you write your Get up, get up, get up, get up, just get your love on. Get up, get up, get up, get up, just get your love on. Get up, get up, get up, get up, just get your love on. Get up, get up, get up, get up, just get your love on.
Nothing in your life is ever easy. It will take some time, you know. Even when the moments seem to drag along, you gotta let them go. There's a feeling in your heart. It's telling you that love will come your way somehow. When it finally catches you, you're unaware of how you ought to be. Stealing moments everywhere. I'm wondering in your heart if it is real. Cancel the dreaming. This is now. This is now. Remember how they said that love would come your way somehow. And I can see the praises of the moment when you're here with me. And I can feel an everlasting love is happening to me. This is now, this is now. Remember how they said that love would come your way somehow. And I can see the praises of the moment when you're here with me. And I can feel an everlasting love is happening to me. And I can see the praises of the moment when you're here with me. And I can feel an everlasting love is happening to me. And I can see the praises of the moment when you're here with me. And I can feel an everlasting love is happening to me. And I can see the praises of the moment when you're here with me. And I can feel an everlasting love is happening to me. Whoa.
Comfortable space. Focus on your breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I want you to take the relaxation you now have on the top of your head. Take it all the way down, down, down throughout the whole of your body. Feeling good as relaxation goes down, down, right down to the soles of your feet, all up through your neck, into your scalp, over your scalp, and down into your forehead. Let that relaxation relax all the large and small muscles around your eyes. And just to make sure that you're feeling relaxed, just Press your eyelids together, squeeze them tight. Just for a moment, pretend you can't open them. Pretend you can't open them, just for a moment. Just allow them, after a few seconds, to open. If you would like, allow your eyelids then to close all the way down, all the way down, getting you more and more relaxed. Every breath that you take makes you even more relaxed. Breathing in and breathing out. And let that relaxation go down into your chin, making your chin and all the muscles around your chin relax. And if your teeth are clenched, just unclench your teeth. And any sounds you may hear will make you even more relaxed. Let those sounds around you, the ticking of a clock, perhaps a car, allow it to make you even further relaxed. Now at this moment, I want you to imagine you're going to go on a journey. Now on this journey, it's a special journey, a journey that anybody can go on at any time. This journey is a balloon ride. Now, not many of us have been on a balloon ride, but you can imagine a balloon, a basket, and filling up with the hot air. And at this moment, you can perhaps feel yourself clambering into the basket, and perhaps you may like to take a favoured friend or companion with you to join me in this journey. Now, principally, this is to help you get over any forms of negative thinking. There's so much negative thought in the world at the moment, so many issues. But this will help you get over all the negativity that you're perhaps being subjected to from all directions, everywhere you go. So imagine now you've clambered into the basket and the fire is firing up the hot air in the ropes are securing this balloon, and suddenly the people around the basket allow it to release itself from the earth, and up you go. Up you into the earth's atmosphere. And as you look over, you see the earth is slowly drifting away. It's becoming further and further away. And the people on the ground become small figures, smaller and smaller. But you have control over this balloon. It's within your control. And you, at this moment, control the fire and give a bit more hot air into the balloon, giving it more traction, giving it more strength, sending it higher and higher. Now realize you're absolutely safe. And as you go further and further up, the earth seems to become more and more a vista, something you can look down on. And down on the earth, there are people living lives with hopes and dreams and worries. But you don't have to take part in any of that. You're safe and secure in this balloon. Perhaps you're drifting these clouds now, and you feel the clouds engulf the balloon, but they have no effect. They're just a bit moist and make you feel stronger in some way. They're ready. You can still see the earth. You can still see whole plots of land, cities, towns, roads, greens, green fish and oceans. It could be something like a Google map or Google, but you're just floating around. And at this time, suddenly how small you all really are compared to the universe. Perhaps you realize the world is still a very, very small item in the whole of the universe. The planet Earth is just a tiny little spot revolving round a hot sun, which gives it life and energy. And perhaps you can realize as well that it's the miracle of your life, how you're able to take part in this energy, in this wonderful medium of the earth, sun, and gravity and air. And you realize that as an animal you've conquered gravity, you've conquered the inability to fly. Birds can fly, but their environment dictates what they can or cannot do. You as an animal have overcome that. You as an animal have managed to move up and be part of something. You're not chained to your environment like our ancestors were. You can look down and see the earth for what it is. A magnificent globe, a ball of ocean, light, energy. And all this while you've been worried about things whilst you've been on the ground. But you don't have to worry more about those. Up there, high above, where is your fears then? Have any fears? Why have any worries? Nothing and nobody's there. You can just sail along through the clouds and pretend that this can go on forever. And even if it cannot go on forever, your own powerful vision can carry you to this space and time. Your own imagination that you always have, will always have. No matter what's going on around you, no matter how hard the world is, troublesome, it's a powerful, wonderful imagination that you as a human animal can delve into, uniquely amongst all animals, at any time. Moving along, as the earth, perhaps the day is starting to fade. You can see another celestial object, the moon, appearing. The moon is round, a miracle, a round satellite of the earth, but it has a powerful influence on you. It controls the tide on the earth. It also has a magnetic role to play in your feelings and your emotions. And realise that this is the only satellite that is actually orbiting the Earth. But realise there can be many other Earths around the universe which have moons revolving around them. And you realise at this point the Sun, the Earth, the Moon, the universe, the galaxy, how small human life compared to how enormous the universe is. You're wrapped up in your worries and your problems on the planet Earth. One day, perhaps your children's children won't have to be earth-bound. They'll be able to travel around, perhaps from one part of the galaxy to another, and perhaps it'll be from one dimension to another. Who knows how we'll progress the species, but for now we're in a very ancient form of traverse, a very ancient form of transport, the hot air balloon. And all those years ago, Kofiya brothers invented this wonderful means of transport. And to them, it was high state technology of art. It was the most incredible thing, and it is a most incredible thing that you can enjoy this experience, because hot air flies. So stoking the flame even further, you now feel you can now slowly but surely drift down and slowly drift down. And as you start drifting down, the more relaxed you're starting to feel. Because in this magical balloon ride, this magical journey, you're slowly but surely coming to the end and back down to the planet Earth. And slowly but surely, you can see the Earth starting to rise up and getting nearer and nearer. People that sent you off are starting to become more distinguishable. Don't worry anymore, because since you've been on this magical balloon ride, you've let go of so many emotions and negative thinking, negative thoughts. Somehow you realize that the future is bright, that you hold your future, and that nothing and nobody can deflect you, and nothing and nobody can subvert you or undermine you. You are your own person, and though many people will tell you what you should believe and how you should be, you are who you are. You form your own opinions, your own judgments, your own truths. And that in itself makes you a unique and special being in the universe, for, as you well know, there can never be another version of you in the whole of the universe. There will never be another person like yourself. You have this chance to live your life, to get the best out of it. And this is your opportunity, because as the saying says, you get the one chance, you don't get another one, to be yourself, to realize your potential, to realize your dreams, determined to find love, to enjoy relationships, to have achievements, to have joy, to experience the full, wonderful journey that we call life. Down you've come down, and your friends and your family have run towards you to put the guy ropes, to whack them down into the earth, to pull you slowly down, safe and sound. And you've enjoyed your balloon ride. But now when you see your friends and family, there's a new and wonderful vigor about you and your life. Never again will you have any self-doubt. Never again will you feel the need to be second best of any kind. You are unique. You are individual. You are special. Of course, your life matters. So in a moment, I'm going to count up from 3. And at the count of 3, I want you to be fully awake, eyes wide open, feeling alert, refreshed, and relaxed. Get ready now. 1, eyes waking up slowly. 2, your eyes are now open. You feel as though a wonderful mountain stream is flowing through you. You feel refreshed, you feel energized, you feel relaxed, you feel ready to take on the planet and anything that throws that life throws at you. And 3, eyes awake, eyes are open, wide awake, ready to enjoy your life as you deserve to, as is your destiny. Thank you for listening. And if you want to take part in any more of these recordings, I wish you to log on to Moving On TV, Master Ottawa Hypnotherapy. I'm open to take your calls for anything that may be troubling you, whether it be phobias, whether it be depression, anxiety, to stop smoking, weight loss. The power of the subconscious mind is infinite, and we all have access to it. We just have to let it in and become part of its healing power. Thank you.
welcome to Moving On TV, the station that gives you hope. You know we are sponsored by Martin Hypnotherapy. Today, Martin Ottival is here to give us a session to help us to how to use hypnotherapy and to show you how a trance actually operates. So he's going to do a trance on me so that you don't have to be worried about trances making you do things that you don't want to do. You know, it's not stage hypnotherapy. So, hi Martin.
Today I'm conducting a live hypnotherapy session. I'm going to get Lauren to go between waking and sleeping or into a trance state. It's a natural state. We all experience it every day of our life. Our capacity for this trance state is variable. Everybody has the capacity to go into the trance state, some more than others. During stage hypnosis, they tend to find by inductions and by tests, they tend to find out who is more susceptible to hypnosis or the trance state, and they tend to work on those people. And it's basically all together. It's like an entertainment. Everybody's the expectation is so strong that they basically will go along with the hypnotist's wishes. And he, from that, is able to wheedle out the ones who are more susceptible to his commands, and then he sort of tries the he bases his around those people. Got different propensities to the trance state, some more than others. Today I'm going to work with my wife Lauren, and we're going to get her into a trance state and give a few positive suggestions. Once she's there, we can give her some positive suggestions. Essentially, hypnosis works in a way where you close down the conscious mind, shall we say. The conscious mind is the more rational part of the mind that makes your everyday decisions. It helps you to give you, what you want to do. It's the analytical part of the mind, and the subconscious mind, the main part of the mind, is where all your stored are held, all your learned memories, all your emotions, imagination, and all your long-term memories are held.
So there you have it. So Martin's going to put me into a trance, and you're just going to watch as he counts down and helps to a trance, relax, so that we can remember of what hypnotherapy is. So sit back and enjoy me relaxing. Thank you.
I want you now to start focusing on your breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. Keeping your eyes closed. Relaxation you now have in your eyelid. Just go all the way down to your feet. Just feel all the relaxation now going all the way down to your feet. If you don't feel that right away, don't worry, it will soon catch up with you. Allow your feet to feel very relaxed. Allow this feeling of relaxation now to go up the muscles to your knees. Let all the muscles up your knees feel very relaxed. Now let all the muscles of your thighs relax. Deeply relax. And let this relaxation flood all the large and small muscles of your back. Just feel your large and small muscles of your back start to relax. And you can feel this feeling of relaxation spreading throughout. Now all the muscles of your shoulders and down the arms to the tip fingers starting to relax. And all the muscles of your neck relax. Going right up over your head and down into your eyes. And all your eyes, around your eyes, relax. All the muscles around you relax. If your teeth are clenched, unclench your teeth and you'll feel your body start to relax so much more. Now any somewhere here will guide you into a deeper state of relaxation, and the sound of my voice will guide you even deeper into this calm and wonderful relaxation. And in a moment I'm going to count from 1 down to 3. With each count your body will start to relax more. So get ready now. 1. Feeling relaxed. 2. Relaxing more and more. 3. Very comfortable and very relaxed. Your whole body feels so relaxed. So relaxed that if I should ask you to lift a leg or an arm, you would feel so relaxed you would not feel like lifting them. But even so, Lauren, I would like you now to try and lift your left arm. Alright, stop trying, it feels so deeply relaxed. You just want to let it rest right where it is. And as you do so, you feel a state of even greater calmness and release. Now Lauren, there's a place I want you now to go to in your mind, which is either real or imaginary, a place which belongs to you, where you can go to whenever you feel you need to feel relaxed and at peace with the world. Before you know where to go, a place like where this place is. With the count of 5, I want you to take yourself to a place where you can go and feel completely with the world. So get ready now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're there. And you're there. Notice your surroundings now, feeling so at ease with yourself. This is a place where nothing and no one can harm you, where you feel completely at one. A place which fills you up with energy, where you can be creative. And perhaps in this place you may share a friend. And this is a good way anybody you choose. A good friend, an old friend, or an imaginary friend. A question on your mind. Perhaps perhaps you can ask this friend this question. And when you do so, just nod head and wait an answer. That's good. Now at this point, Lauren, if there's anything that's stressing you, or there's any problems that you feel, I want you to imagine that you could stuff them all into an imaginary pink balloon. If you could see them all in your mind's eye, you could see them as perhaps rows of sentences that could be shoved into a big pink balloon. All any problems or stresses or strains, upsets or hurts, and you could shove them into this pink balloon and then tie it up and release it into the distance. And as it flows out to the distance, all those stresses go with it, all those strains go with it. Are you ready to release? Now release that, Lauren, and let that go way into the distance, way down into the distance. And as it does so, you feel more and more at peace within yourself and feel energized and relaxed. Now, as you're in this peaceful and relaxed state, I want to give your mind, your subconscious mind, a few suggestions that in the coming days and in the coming weeks you will find a sense of belief and confidence and inner confidence growing within you daily. And bit by bit, day by day, this confidence will grow within you, making you feel more safe and more secure. And nothing and no one can upset or deflect you from your purpose, from your feeling of self-worth, from your ability to do what you know you can do. And any challenges, you will not see them as problems, but you will seek the solution. All problems to you will appear as challenges, things that are necessary for you to achieve success. Success that you so richly deserve, because everybody wants you to win, Lauren. And this feeling of self-worth will set hard within you, like wet concrete, becoming more and more a part of your inner you, the real you, every day, day by day, week by week, and month by month. And you will feel yourself becoming calmer and stronger. Your abilities will be fantastic. You know you have the abilities to achieve what you set your mind to, and to achieve your goals. And to realize that we can only deal with one thing at a time. And you will have the calmness and confidence and peace of mind to deal with things in a relaxed manner as they appear. Nothing and no one can upset you or deflect you
from your purposes, your life goals, and your inner confidence is solid and rock hard. So Lauren, with these thoughts in mind, you feeling yourself in a calm and refreshed state, in a moment I'm going to emerge you, and at the count of 3, and not before, you'll let your eyes open and feel yourself feeling energized and relaxed and ready to meet the new day with a renewed sense of vigor and energy, and feeling like you can take on the world. And be completely energized and refreshed. So get ready now. 1. You're feeling as though you're starting to wake up now. A tremendous amount of energy is now flowing throughout your body, and yet you feel this peace of mind. 2, feel your eyelids and your eyelids starting to open. In a moment I'm going to count 3 and you'll be awake and back in the fullness of the day, and the new you and the self-confident Lauren will be ready for the whole world to see. Get ready now, Lauren. 3, eyes open, fully awake, relaxed and calm. Welcome back, Lauren. Thank you for listening.
Wow. Thank you. Wow. That was really, really nice. That was really, really nice. We're going to take a break there. I don't think I need any more confidence, but you know, as people know, my confidence is, but that was wonderful. Just joking there. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to set a few questions to Martin, because I know that people who are watching this will have some questions. And as you know, I'm moving on TV. We're here to answer the questions you have and to make things more, so people are more aware. What I can say is what I did find fascinating is that I was in quite a difficult space before this, because as you know, I'm going through a lot with my leg. People know I have a mental illness. And I couldn't have got myself to that level. I couldn't have done that on my own. And when Martin said, can you lift your arm?
Your left arm.
Then it was glued to my leg. But I know that if I wanted to get out of here and walk out of the chair, I could have done that. So I had total 100% control over the session. But I didn't want to. I wanted to go with it. So I'm going to ask Martin some questions about how I felt. And as I say, how certain situations might come up that I thought could come up, because I am going through a lot. But we're going to take a break, and it's time for an advert. So would you like to introduce your advert, Martin? Have a look at the camera.
Martin Oswald, hypnotherapy, down to earth hypnosis.
Thank you. See you back after the break.
Hello, my name is Martin Oswald of Martin Oswald Hypnotherapy. I specialise in smoking cessation, weight loss, phobia release, stress management and hypnobirthing. I can do a free assessment via the phone, via Skype or face-to-face at any time. So that's Martin Oswald of Martin Oswald Hypnotherapy. Looking forward to your call now. You can also find me on my Facebook page, which is Martin Oswald Hypnotherapy.
Welcome back. What an amazing experience. You know, we're here now with this new wellness and holistic show. I hope you enjoy it, because we're going to bring on people that are doing amazing things for our world. And one of them is Martin Oswald with his hypnotherapy. And I was just put into a state of trance. But I do have some questions for Martin. You know, with all that's going on in my life, a part of me wanted to burst out crying or saying, you know, what would you do, Martin, if you came across a client who really was in panic or depression and they were going through something really serious? How would you deal with it, Martin? So can you tell us?
Well, you would immediately bring them around if there was something that was too much for them to forbear. You would bring them round out of the trance state, and then bring them back to the normal waking state, and then you would then just conduct a normal conversation with them, just straightforward, where you just be a face-to-face discussion, where they would could recount what's hindering them and what their problems are. But then you might say, well, in that case, well, can you remember a time when you were really happy about in your life? How can you remember a particular time or a past event where you felt so energized, so good about yourself, where there was no such thing, you didn't even consider or any of your problems? And then that in itself would help them to sort of enter a form of a trance state. After all, there's various trance states can occur all the time. Like when you watch TV, when you listen to music, when you're driving a car, mild trance states can occur. And that alone would, as long as you can get the person to lower their resistance, to lower their guard, that's what you would aim to do. You're looking for the least possible resistance so that you can get them into a trance state. So that would be one way of dealing with it.
Brilliant, Martin. That's a really good answer. As you say, you know, because people do not know what to do a lot of the time with their feelings. So you're kind of building rapport with them, I would say. Is that true? You say we're building rapport with people,
well, yes,
getting them to trust you.
That in itself can help people get to where they want to go. I mean, just by even talking face to face with people, them recounting what their problems are, can help them to sort of unload, just to have that sort of direct contact with another human being and to tell them, because after all, we're trying to get them into an inner state of internal focus here. And they're already going into that direction just by talking to you, and that alone can be a therapy all by itself. Of course, we want to get them into a more focused or more trance, hypnotic state. But just by bringing them around, just by talking to them, and just by getting them to face up, or just to be open. And to be open and just to be clear about what's really troubling them, that in itself can be a therapeutic process all by itself.
Great, because sometimes they probably haven't had anyone to talk to, and you could be the first port of call where they're actually admitting that they've got something that they want help with.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, another question I had for you, Martin, was again, I'm a very visual person, and I find it very easy. So if you say to me, can you find somewhere to go where you can relax, and straight away I see Ewington. As everyone knows, I see Ewington Valley, I see the sheep. If you say to me, get this pink balloon, I see a pink balloon. If you say to me, see all the writing and stuff it into a balloon, I see everything. Now, my question is, and a lot of people ask this about, being visual, is what if you can't actually see things? What if you're talking to someone that is not very, doesn't actually, is not as visual? How would you use it? Would you say, can you hear this, or can you feel it?
Most people can visualize or somewhere, or be in the moment, in the feeling, or in the sounds of somewhere that they really like, because it's had such an effect on their senses and their emotions. So in a sense, really, you would start off with a visualization, and after that, then you would sort of build on that and say, well, notice the sounds and the shapes, and perhaps you can hear the sea, and perhaps you can perhaps you can feel, you know, the sand beneath your feet or something. I did a very generalised one for the benefits, for purposes of brevity. But I mean, you could build on that and say, where are you now, and where is this place that you're actually at, and you could build on there. Of course, some people will think in different ways. Some people will think visually, or will be able to visualize. Some people can hear things or in sound. Some people, it's their emotions. You would have to sort of gather what their stronger point is by that alone. But with mostly an event or a favourite place or normally something, some sounds, basically, you can generally guess them.
Thank you. So, because in a way, what we're talking about is if you do say to someone, can you visualize, can you see this place? It will conjure up emotions anyway. So you'll start to feel the feelings, because one thing will lead to another. That's brilliant. So I'm just thinking of anything else that you have to ask. If you've got any questions for Martin about hypnotherapy, then obviously I'll pass them on to him. You can contact me at Lauren with an E at movingontv.uk, or you can phone me on 07437 532 798. Because if you've got any questions that you want to put to Martin, then please contact me and we'll bring him back on and he will answer your questions. Because hypnotherapy is being used now all over the world to deal with so many conditions and so many different things. I'm just going to put it to Martin now of what things he actually does deal with and what can you expect from him if you call him for a session.
Thanks for that, Lauren. Essentially, hypnosis has been used for thousands of years. It fell out of favour, well, perhaps a couple of hundred years or so ago, because it used to be considered for operations, but eventually chloroform sort of replaced its use. So it's always been known to man, but it was never perhaps in vogue. Until recently. It's come back into, well, in the last maybe 40, 50 years, it's come back into being recognised, and you've had it as a very useful therapy or tool to help people achieve therapeutic change within their lives. In a sense, really, you say hypnotherapy, it's based on the word hypnos, it's a Greek word for sleep. You could also call it a focused state of attention, which helps the client access their inner strengths or inner talent for change, and it sort of buys into your natural abilities to help you change within yourself. You just need to be guided towards this focused state and to be directed into new ways of thinking a problem.
So what would you...
Or overeating or emotional eating or nail biting or anything like that, then you could achieve by the inner state of focus to reframe or to reprogram the mind to overcome these habits and benefit yourself or initiate a new habit where you can get the same pleasure, the same payoffs, if you like, but which is not so harmful to yourself and doesn't do your body damage. I mean, in particular, smoke and weight loss.
What other conditions would you use hypnotherapy for?
Well, you could do it for you could do it for any skin conditions, or eczema, or for IBS, for any to do with the nervous system. There is a famous case where somebody was able to reverse a severe skin condition, which all medicine had failed to do, but hypnosis managed to achieve. You can also get people more confidence that gives them that makes the most of who they are and what they've actually got within themselves. I think that's the main thing. It can't make you human, but what talents you do possess, hypnosis can access them and make them use them or help you to use them to the best of your ability.
So in a way, you're doing coaching. You're actually working on people's strengths instead of the weaknesses.
But
Is that what
you're
you're doing?
accessing an altered state of consciousness to do this, whereas coaching
Right.
would not do that. What you have, what you already possess, and realise what's within yourself and give you that state of confidence and a state of determination and state of calm. And it's something that's been known for thousands of years, and really it's something that in the modern era which is being realised.
So you could really use it for anything, to give people motivation, to move them on in any way, with if they have phobias or stress, any kind of stress. I suppose if they're not sleeping properly. But I think also what you're doing is you're building rapport with another human being. You're giving them a chance to trust someone to help them to move on with their lives. So it could be anything. I expect people must come to you with different conditions and just ask you to do something to help them in some way. I have to ask you this is my playfulness, don't get nervous, but in a lot of old movies and things you always see them use a watch and they go like this, but you don't do that, do you? Or why would, how did it move on from that? Because now hypnotherapists wouldn't actually use
well, that's Hollywood style. A Hollywood star would use the old hypnotist stage tricks of eye fixation, which would help people to go down into a trance state, which again is a useful tool. You can do that, but some people, as I said at the start, are more susceptible to hypnosis than others, and that would work with some people easier than others. Right. Because it would cause eye strain, and eventually your eyelids would have to fall down, and it was very visible and very good for the old films to actually show, show the process in action. They wouldn't show somebody Milton Erickson style talking to somebody and getting them down into a trance in that way. They'd show something visible and demonstrable, which waving a watch from side to side particularly is.
But we do go into trance a lot in life. I mean, we were watching this film last night about dancers. Absolutely amazing, Desert Dancer. I won't go into it too much, but the way they were dancing, she had her hand in front of him and he was following her hand, and it was like he was going into trance. It was becoming more and more connected to the dance, and obviously we use it in driving, don't we?
Yeah, you can.
When you're driving, I mean, obviously you don't. What I'm trying to say is, you are 1 minute you're driving, then you think, oh, how did I get here? Because you're so focused, you're in that zone, basically. Yes. So in a way, we use it in life, and when you're doing the things that you love, particularly if you're on the stage. When you're on the stage in that space, like when I'm doing Piaf and I'm really there, you're in trance.
Yes.
You go into trance, and it's this feeling of, the only way I can express it is like everything disappears. And like when you did this on me just now, it's that feeling like everything has disappeared in a nice way, and all your problems are starting to become smaller, and you start to feel like you're letting go. So in a way, trance is letting go, isn't it?
Yes.
1 minute you're driving, then you think, oh, how did I get here? Because you're so focused, you're in that zone, basically. Yes. So in a way, we use it in life, and when you're doing the things that you love, particularly if you're on the stage, when you're on the stage in that space, like when I'm doing Piaf and I'm really there, you're in trance.
Yes.
You go into trance, and it's this feeling of, the only way I can express it is like everything disappears. And like when you did this on me just now, it's that feeling like everything has disappeared in a nice way, and all your problems are starting to become smaller, and you start to feel like you're letting go. So in a way, trance is letting go, isn't it?
Yes, well, it's an altered state of consciousness. If acting, if you do something, you're dancing, if you do something you really enjoy, then yes, you could sort of argue you've gone into a state of hypnosis in it, or trance state. But there are various forms of trance states. I mean, sleepwalking is a trance state, but that's so deep that you
But that's a negative thing.
but you couldn't really sort of give suggestions to the mind on that sort of basis. But as I said before, we're trying to get between waking and sleeping, this halfway house where the rational conscious mind has closed down, and we're able to offer the subconscious mind suggestion or positive beneficial suggestion, and to affect change within your life. And yes, dancing and acting, singing, anything, it can initiate a trance state.
Which is amazing, really. That's why we're doing this program for you, is because we don't want you to be scared. We don't want you to have this stigma of, oh my God, I'm going into trance. We're trying to explain to you, I mean, you could be having your favorite chocolate cake and you're going into trance. That's it. There's nothing to it. And you can put the plate down and walk off. And what happened to me today, if I wanted to say, no, I'm not doing this anymore, cut, I could have got off my seat and walked off. I didn't want to. So you need to know that with a hypnotherapy session, you are 100% in control. Isn't that right, Martin? And so is that what you would say to one of your clients?
Well, of course, yeah.
If you want to end the session, just say, I'm sorry, it's not working.
If you're watching your favourite film, you know somebody's there knocking at the door that needs to come in, but you don't really want to go and answer the door. You want to carry on watching your favourite, whatever it is, film or whatever, game, football, whatever, and you could ostensibly break off from watching the film and answer the door. This is the sort of similar state that we're achieving. It's that sort of element of you are still in control, but you're so relaxed that you know this, so you don't feel under threat, and you know you've still got enough control within you to actually walk out or to come out of the trance state.
Sure. So just one more question before we end, because again, my father always used to tell me about a stage hypnotist, and again, I want to come back to that a little bit, where in Ireland, where he put everyone under and he said, go look for the leprechauns. And the whole audience, well, not the whole audience, it's how my dad exaggerated. Some people from the audience ran out and started looking for leprechauns. Now, what do they do to them? Which, of course, you're not doing. You're saying to anyone who comes to see you, if you want to come out of this, you're totally in control. What stage hypnotists do to people where they completely can do something like that?
I've not really heard that story before. Anyway.
Yeah, my father used to tell me that.
I mean,
because that's the stigma.
Yeah, but
that's what we're trying to get rid of.
That goes back into what I said at the start, that some people are more susceptible to hypnosis, maybe up to 10% are very susceptible to hypnosis. This is what they are buying into it, and before that time, you've probably got them into a state of excitement. You've probably got them all in as a group strategy to get up off the floor, get up off their chairs, sit down again, to clap their hands, to sort of do all these things. You've probably got them all into a sort of state, a heightened state. And Tony Robbins does exactly the same thing.
In a good way.
In a good way, yes. So he then said, he probably bought into their sense of fun and all of that, and they said, go and look for the leprechauns and all the rest of it. That is part of entertainment, of the entertainment side of it. Maybe there's some people, as you said, were actually looking for leprechauns. Maybe they were just trying to have a good time, have a laugh. Some people were just having a bit of fun. But as I said, they normally would take the most susceptible of people to the trance state and work with them and pretty much get them to put on a show anyway. Yeah. So that they would be encouraging all of this, and that's how they work, the stage hypnosis.
Well, that's a brilliant answer. Thank you so much, Martin. Because if you look at the worst case scenario of hypnotizing a crowd, well, we all have situations like Hitler, where he managed to get a whole nation to be hypnotized by him, by actually rallying the crowd up and doing what you're saying, which what they do with more stage hypnotists. So I hope we've helped you move on a little bit with that. Moving on TV, we do everything we can to make you happy, to give you hope. And here we are, moving on TV, ending a wonderful session I've just had with Martin. Isn't it great? I've got this on tap all the time, but no, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you have to help yourself as well, and you can learn to hypnotize yourself. You can help yourself to go into trance, but sometimes, as I say, life is not easy, and it's good to go and find someone like Martin who can help you, because they've got the expertise and they've got the patience and they know how to get you there just like that, if you trust. And if not, then you build it up, and at some point it gets easier and easier. You just have to go onto Martin's website, which is downtoearthhypnosis.yolasite.com. You can see it come up because we have got the advert, and read the testimonials and come and experience a real hypnotherapy session. If you want to come to the studio, then contact us, and I'm sure you will give another demo on Moving on TV. Martin also does Skype, is that right? You're now...
Also do Skype sessions. You can contact me over this medium of Skype or the internet, and that would be helpful if you're living miles away, and basically you'll still have the face-to-face idiom or face-to-face medium with myself. So that's Martin Oswald, Down to Earth Hypnosis for smoking cessation, weight loss, phobias, and all manner and range of ailments and troubles you might have. Thanking you. Bye bye.
Welcome to Moving On TV. Welcome to Moving On TV, the new TV channel for us. Welcome to Moving On TV and 2021. Goodness me, welcome to the new year, guys, and welcome to Moving On TV. My name is Lauren Hope Glory, and I am the proud CEO of Moving On TV. And I'm here today to invite you on board Moving On TV. Now, let me tell you about my mission statement. We are the TV station that day and night is there for you 24 hours a day with your talents, your holistic work, your dreams. When nobody else wants to listen to you, we are there for you. Welcome to Moving On TV. There will always be a switchboard. You can ring 07437 532 798. And as long as Moving On TV is here, and it will be here forever, growing and growing and growing, you will never, ever have to struggle again worrying about who is going to listen to my talents, who will let me sing, who will let me dance. We will. And that comes from my mission statement, because I know how it feels, because that's what happened to me. If you know anything about me, I sat in a wheelchair and crying because there wasn't one TV station that I could contact to go on. God knows I tried and I tried. Have you got that book in you? Do you want to talk about your pets? We've done a cup and a scone with people in their 90s. It doesn't matter. I'm ageless. I don't have an age anymore. You don't have an age anymore. We are pure love consciousness. Moving On TV is here for you. Welcome to Moving On TV. The happy news flashes, if we can, if it's safe, the consumer program to try and get solutions for you. We are solution based. Welcome to Moving On TV. Come on board, the best little new TV station in the world. Moving On TV, moving you on every day, one tiny step at a time. You can contact me at movingontv1@gmail.com. I love you. Have a beautiful 2021. May all your dreams come true, because we can help you make them happen. And we also are looking for amazing sponsors holistic, that only enhance the environment and enhance the human race. I love you. Where we go one, we go all. Welcome to Moving On TV and 2021. I love you. Happy New Year. Welcome to Moving On TV. My name is Lauren Hope Glory. I'm the proud CEO of Moving On TV, the TV station that gives you the hope and then the glory. Now, this is our mission statement. Our mission statement is that you have always got a platform for your talents, your dreams, your work, and it doesn't involve money. It involves connecting and bartering, because if you can't afford it, you barter. And you go out there and you promote Moving On TV. You come on here and do your own shows.
Moving on TV's mission statement is that you will never, ever sit on your own in your house and think, oh my God, I have this amazing singing voice and no one will listen to me. I've got to go and stand in a queue. That's not going to happen anymore. That's the past. But I'm going to stand in a queue for hours and hours and nobody will care about me. And I'm just a piece of meat and a voice and nothing else. To us, you are unique. You are unique mind, body, and spirit. And we will take you and we'll hold you and love you. And that's what Moving on TV is. Because I can't be anything else. That's me. That's why I'm here. And because I will never, ever let you suffer the same way as I did to get where I'm going. Okay, so that's my mission statement. The mission statement of Moving on TV is we are humanitarian, we are love, we are compassion, we are consciousness. We are here for every single unique human being, whether you clean the streets or toilets, or whether you're all the same. We're all equal. We are all equal. It doesn't matter who you are. If you have a dream, if you have a mission, if you have something that you want to give, come to Moving on TV. This is the news. This is the new news. And when we can, we will give you the truth bit by bit, little by little. But we will wake you up so you can find it out for yourself. Okay, so watch our programs and you can see what Moving on TV is. We are a TV station, not a channel. We are a TV station, just like BBC and Sky and ITV. A real TV station for everyone. Come on board Moving on TV. The TV station that gives you hope first. Tikva in Hebrew, hope, means it opens your heart and it makes you feel that you're here for a reason. It gives you a reason to get up in the morning. Tikva, ahava, light language. I love you. If you don't get this message, then you're not supposed to be on Moving on TV. We come from Christ consciousness and we come from somewhere else. Aquarius. And so this is your TV station. Join us. Come on board Moving on TV. You can contact us at movingontv1@gmail.com. Us or text 437 532 798. I protect Moving on TV with the violet flame and the angels and all the light and all the beauty of Jesus and Buddha and Muhammad and all the leaders that came, Gandhi, that came to show us the way. The way. Nothing is Moving on TV unless it is based in that consciousness. I love you and thank you. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2021.
Okay, so that's the appeal gone through. I'll download it and I will put it on so I can keep asking for some kind of sponsorship for a new laptop. Okay, so now we're going to do a coaching session. I'm really sorry I couldn't go live with the coaching session, but now we're going to have a coaching session. And the Tigro model. Okay, so welcome to Moving On TV. Okay, coaching session and the Tigro model. Because I promised it to you guys, and I always tried my best to live up to my promises. And as I say, I couldn't live up to my promises because the laptop wasn't working. So anyway, that's the end of my appeal. I'm not going begging. We are looking for sponsors, and as you know, we're looking for sponsors, we're looking for grants, and we're looking for, the main thing is the top. It's practical to work with this thing, but now I'm going to talk to you. So, okay, that's my goal. Okay, so we talk about the Tigro model. Okay, I want you to think about what your goal is. So let me see if we've gone live. Coaching session and the Tigro model. I want to help you to achieve. I want to help you to try and achieve your goals. So my goal, my topic at the moment, is get a new laptop to raise £1,000 editing laptop. Okay, so will you write down your topic for me now? Okay, so my topic is to buy a new editing laptop. Okay, so that means for that I need £1,000. Okay, so that's going on. That's on Facebook. Right now, I'll tell you a little bit about life coaching now. Okay, what is life coaching? Life coaching is not counseling. Okay, this is our first session, our first life coaching session. Life coaching is not counseling. That's the first thing you need to know. Life coaching is not counseling. Life coaching moves you forward. It helps you set goals. It helps you find your big topic, and then you set the steps through the Tigro model. Okay, so before we start, I'm going to put on a little video for you to watch. So wish me luck that I can actually make this work. I'm going to put a little video on for you about the T-Grow model so you can see what life coaching is. There we go. Okay, so I want you to watch this, and this will show you what life coaching is. Okay, watch
Hello
this.
there. Welcome back to Life Coaching with Laura.
Sorry about the hair,
Achieving
guys.
Your dream life, as we explained before, it's what's important to you. Now we had an introduction, we talked about life coaching, what it is and what counselling is and what mentoring is and how you can try to work together. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how it's changed my life. 10 years ago, I trained as a life coach. And since then, I have been working with incredible, inspirational people from all over the world on Skype and over the phone, helping me to create my dreams and helping me to create a realistic dream. So initially we have this passion. So my passion was to have this theatre company called Moving On Theatre. That's the big dream. You start off with this massive dream where you want to be, I want to be performing everywhere, singing, acting, doing what I love. Now that can't be created in a day, not usually. So what we do with life coaching is we learn how to achieve it by being very, very realistic and having the steps to get there. And for that, we use a model. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the T-Grow model. Don't always think that you have to use this all the time, because we're all different. But today I'm just going to give you a general idea of what the T-Grow model is. T is the topic or the dream. So like I say, you have this big dream. You may want to retire and have a villa in Spain. Okay, so that's your big dream. You may want to pass your driving test. Your big dream. You get the gist. The topic is the big dream. The second is the G, which is the goal. Your goal is what I would like you to go away with at the end of the session. So, for example, you've got half an hour session. I say to you, what would you like to achieve by the end of the session that is bringing you closer to achieving that villa in Spain, that giving up smoking, that being, having an easier relationship with your children, whatever. And that's what you say. You say, well, by the end of this session, I would like to achieve more understanding about properties in Spain, for example. That is up to you. That's your goal for the session. You have half an hour. And we don't always set that. It's not always cut in stone. Again, it depends on the person, but it's nice to know that we have some kind of structure. The next thing we have is the reality and the resources, okay? And that is when I ask you, what support system have you got? Have you got people supporting you? So say you want to move to Spain. Have you got people you can talk to about? Is your husband or your partner or your children, are they supporting you with moving to Spain and buying a villa? What about money? This is all about pulling in your resources and your reality, okay? Because as I said to you, it's all about being grounded in reality, okay? So then we move on to options, and we make a list of all the different ways that we can find out how we're going to achieve this goal. And that's the fun bit, because your mind starts to open up. And it's like brainstorming. You get out a piece of paper and you're writing down, oh, I'd love to move, and I'd like to move maybe in a year, or I can get money from here, or whatever. It doesn't matter. You're writing and writing, and it's all coming out, and your mind's opening up, okay? And then you've got the W, which is your willingness. And this to me is the most important part of the session, because you're committing to yourself and to your life coach what you're going to do by the next session. And you can make a list and say, well, I'm going to do these 5 actions or 3 actions. 1, I'm going to go on the internet and I'm going to check out villas in Spain. It doesn't matter. You come up with the actions, and the willingness is there on paper. And your life coach will say to you, okay then, Lauren, or okay, whoever it is we're coaching, okay, so you're going to go on the internet when? And you give a date, a time, and that's your commitment to your life coach, okay? And that's when you come back for the next session with that life coach, they will make you accountable for that and ask you if you did it. If you did it, that's brilliant. They will look at that. If you didn't do it, that's no problem at all, because you're working towards this, okay? You're willing to do it, and that's a big thing. And that's the T-Grow model. Now on the other side, interestingly enough, the right side of the brain, I don't know why I did that, but also because the right side of the brain is the creative. Because everyone is different, when you do your intake session or your assessment with your coach, they may decide to work differently because their intuition will kick in. And once they start to get to know you, they may think, well, actually, Lauren doesn't work very well with structure. How about we just see what happens? So we say, okay, your dream is, boom, I want to win the lottery. Fine, there's your dream. Okay, but maybe we don't set a goal for the session. We just explore, okay? And that, again, will work beautifully. And I can promise you that when the coach says to you after the end of your session, have you achieved what you wanted? Are you any closer to your goal? They will say yes. Because somehow their mind will have opened up a little bit and they will be closer to their goal. So that's it. So today we've discussed the T-Grow model, and we've also discussed intuition and create a creative way of coaching, which is more right-sided. And interestingly enough, I did actually do that, and that I didn't plan to, but it happened. And in the next session, when I come back again, in the next episode, we will be actually watching life coaching session. But before I go, I just need to say one thing. Life coaching is about passion. If you don't have any passion, then you can't achieve your dreams. If you have passion, it's more important than money and support. It's more important than anything. Believe me. Because I started with nothing and I still don't have a lot of money, but I'm running my own TV station. When you are passionate and you believe in your heart that that's what you want, you can achieve anything. So I would recommend you get this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's a wonderful book, and it's basically written by an amazing guy that talks about passion and persistence and focus. Because without passion, persistence and focus, you cannot achieve your dreams. There'll always be a comfort zone that you'll be stuck in, or there'll always be, I had to do this, I had to do that. Your life coach will always make you accountable for being there at least once a week or once every 2 weeks to do the session with them, because you won't move on if you don't do that. It's not about money. It's not always about money. It's about your passion, your commitment, your focus, your tenacity, which is much more important, believe me. Coming from someone who runs Moving On Theatre, and now has started a TV station. Passion is everything. It will get you out of bed in the morning. And I'll leave you with another little thought. The past is history. The future a mystery. The present is a gift. We unwrap it with glee. So that's what life coaching is. It's focusing in the present. Focusing in the present. That's what it is. We let go of the past. We don't worry about the future. It'll take care of itself. We're in this moment. And I hope you're in this moment with me with a lot of passion. I look forward to speaking to you in the next episode, where we will be coaching someone in front of you and showing you an intake session. Thank you.
Welcome to Moving On TV, and today we have an incredible guest coming on, a really good friend of mine, Paul MacDonald, who runs the Positivity Centre in Burnham, Nashton Lane. And I'm just going to show you some of the things I've purchased from there. Look at that crystal. These crystals are stunning. And this one. This I know is amethyst. This one drew me because of the gorgeous colours. I think this was about a £5, and this was about a £5, and this was about £10. So this is what you can get there at the Positivity Centre once it's open again. Also, you can buy my book, Simply Amazing, Chapter 8, Casey Armstrong. They sell that. They sell How to Stay Sane in a Crazy World cards, which are channeled by me. And they sell this beautiful, beautiful pendant, if you can see, made by Megan Luna. They sell beautiful things there, and I've purchased loads of stuff from there. But today we're going to talk to Paul, the man himself. I call him Mr. Medicine Man because when I go for a session with Paul MacDonald, he does the shamanism, he does music, he does rhythms, he does I use the bed, the sound and light bed, and all together get this incredible experience, enlightening experience where I detach from life completely. When I come out of there, I'm a different person. And sometimes he uses rhythms and drums and sage sticks, as I say, Mr. Medicine Man. And as I said today, apart from that, he's a very talented musician and songwriter, an all-rounder, as well as an alien for another planet. So a fantastic healer. He does, I'd say, telepathic healing as well. So, you know, close your eyes and the healing appears and you feel different. All sorts of talents and skills and experiences that we feel probably are what refer to being an architect of life, which is what I'm going to ask from him. Now, you saw him a couple of years ago. He did a program on Moving On TV. It was the Happy News at a fair, and where he sang happy talk, happy news. But today we're going to focus on, as I say, the depths of how far this goes. Who is Paul MacDonald? How did he get to the level that he is now? Where did it all start? Because as you know, we're Moving On TV. I like to dive deep and find out about the man or woman, the human, what is behind this, what is behind it all, but the real person. Okay, so welcome to Moving On TV.
Happy, 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 happy news. Happy, happy, happy news.
Oh, yeah. It's an honor and a pleasure to interview you here on Moving On TV, because as you know, I have a huge amount of respect for your work. I love what you do. I just told the viewers that I go onto the lighted sound bed that you have at the Positivity Centre, and it's an incredible experience. I always come off there feeling happy and detached and a lot better than when I went on it. So tell me a little bit about Paul MacDonald. Where did all this start? I mean, you woke up one day and you suddenly knew everything that you know, or did it start way back a while ago?
I suppose I've always been a bit, I suppose very like up in my head a lot, to be quite honest. Always been very intrigued and questioning everything. maybe sometimes it's a little bit too much, but then as they say, your gift is your curse is your gift. Sort of works for you in both ways, doesn't it? Which is life, I suppose. It is a balance. It's like that can't always be one or the other. It's sort of go like that. Yeah, since I can remember, just really, I suppose, open-minded, which caused me a bit of an issue when I was young. Always felt like I wanted to do something, but I never knew what. It was I wanted to be creative, wanted to be expressive, but I couldn't work out what it was. Because when I was younger, the only things I could work out that was expressive and creative was either music or your general sort of stuff. Not realising that what I wanted to really be expressing was energy. And in the format that I do, which is, well, just expressing energy in ways that people are only just starting to wake up to, I suppose. For years they've been doing it in cultures, but it's even in cultures they've been doing it with like indigenous cultures, they've been doing it with some sort of format or tradition where it's not quite that. It's more of a conscious present flow that wants to express itself through sound, through movement. It's almost as if, and for years I think I was stuck with stuff. I remember I used to have tics a lot. I'd make sort of like noises, or I'd twitch my neck, or
You mean a bit like kind of like Tourette's kind of?
yeah, but it was almost sort of a tic. Like I'd have to do something like a certain movement of my neck all the time. And I remember thinking it was like if I don't do it, it's, you know, it was a bit of an OCD, it's a bad luck thing, but more of a feeling. And now I look back on it, I've come to realise it was actually like energy that was stuck and stagnant. And someone said to me recently, and I've only just thought about it, like how light, I don't like the word light language, but I suppose it's like expressing energy is in form of like sound and movement. It's like NLP, because you're, for example, like last night I was feeling like I need to express a certain sounds, and I think it was a lot of like it's a lot of like tongue twisty sounds, and I just go with it. And it's a tone which is a vibration, which is basically what everything is anyway, isn't it? Vibration. So I just go along with it. It can seem weird or it can seem odd, but it's just the tone. It's a sound, and most things in life are made up from sound and frequency. Hence, like in the Bible, it says that the first was the word was God. In the Hindu scriptures, it started with Om. It's just that primordial vibration, sound and light. And like when you listen to certain music, it makes you feel a certain way. Trance music puts you in a real heady, euphoric space. Soul music, you feel in your heart. Then you got sort of stimulated music like drum and bass or heavy rock that puts you in that real like, yeah, invigorated. And you even get music that makes you feel like that goth metal, dark metal stuff. Makes you feel really, I don't even know the word I want to give that. Almost aggressive sometimes, but yeah, different types of music, different sounds do different things. And when someone's singing a love song, they're singing that from their heart. So they're literally, the linguistics and the sound which they're producing is coming from a heart space. So, and when someone's dancing, they feel good because they're allowing their body to move with the sound that they're going with. So when you're expressing sound and then you're doing certain movements with it, you're creating an atmosphere around your body. I know I've gone off of what I was talking about a bit here.
Yeah. Can I just bring you back a sec, Paul?
Yeah.
Because again, I like to, as I say, I want to go back to the beginning. Because
can I eat chocolate?
You can eat your chocolate, yeah. No, it's
all about freedom.
Where did it all start? Because I remember I met you at one of these fairs, these big fairs in Maidenhead, and I sat down beside you, You seem like really calm and quiet, like a really gentle being. You know, sat down beside you. But you were totally focused. You started talking to me, explaining to me what you wanted to do, the conscious camps, and I think at the art center. But, you know, what I want to know is, when did all this start? I mean, how was it at school for you, for example, when you went to school? As you say, you're different, you're creative, how did you manage to settle as a child into the school system with all your energy and ambitions? Or did that start later on when you were older?
I had a funny childhood. I wasn't brought up funny, but I was a bit funny myself because I had weight issues, and that put me into like give me a lot of anxiety because I weren't happy with myself, and I suppose really that's why I do what I do now. You know, I never really, for years, I don't think I enjoyed myself because it was all about how I look, sort of 3D world stuff, and I guess really that put me on a neural path of thinking, because you're always thinking about yourself. You've got anxiety, or you're trying to cover the next move or how you're going to feel about something. So you think a lot, which ends up putting you in the pattern of thinking a lot. So then you end up thinking about everything a lot. Yeah, and when you're thinking a lot, you're thinking about everything. So you'll be thinking about everything a lot. Like a lot of my friends used to do all sorts of stuff. Where I lived in Slough, there was a lot of like crime, a lot of drugs, a lot of robbery, a lot of all sorts. And
sorry, because you grew up in Slough, is that right?
Yeah. Okay. And you know, like friends of mine would be involved in stuff like that, but I'd always be sitting there thinking like about it all from every angle and having compassion. I could never do stuff like that, you know, obviously hang around with people because they're your friends when you're younger, and then certain friends will be doing certain things, and it's that where you're thinking, where I would think a lot, it would stop me acting a certain way because I'd be thinking about consequences, thinking about how the person would feel, thinking about everything. And again, it's like a curse and a gift at the same time, because it's sort of intuitive as well. You don't do stuff because you're thinking, oh, that ain't right, that ain't going to be right, it's going to turn out like that. Like really thinking about everything from every angle. Sort of think yourself out of doing things. And sometimes, but it ends up, I also used to think myself out of doing stuff that maybe I wanted to do. So,
was there anything you liked about school? Or that
I liked school. I liked being with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't like. I've never liked doing structured stuff. I've never liked being part of a structured society. And my mum's very much, and I suppose you've met my mum, opinionated. She made me into the man I am today. Yeah, systematic stuff I've never really gone along with well. My mum didn't. I think she got kicked out of school early because she didn't like going with set routines. It's when it's when you look into stuff and you think like, well, what's the point of that? Not everything about it, but just certain things that you resonate with. And I suppose that's the beginning of change. If you're here as a person who wants to bring in some sort of change always gets what's the word? No one seems to like change, or no one's comfortable with change because they're comfortable with what they're doing. So either people think you're weird for what you're trying to talk about or bring in. And I suppose that's another thing with me as a youngster. I liked certain things. I liked a certain way of dressing, but I never would. I'd never like do things that I wanted to do because I'd be worried about how people I know would think, or if they would take the mickey. Or I was thinking about it only last night, actually, about how much post-traumatic stress is just a whole lifetime of a lot of people. Everyone's got post-traumatic stress. From post-traumatic stress is just, to me, there's different levels of it. You've obviously got shocking life scenarios, and then you've got it where it's something that's affected you deep rooted in you because you couldn't be yourself. Not being able to be yourself is post-traumatic stress, because it leaves a stressful energy in you which accumulates and builds up and ends up disturbing other aspects of your life. Like, you can't be yourself. You can't act a certain way because you're worried about what your parents are going to think. You're worried about what your friends are going to think. Then that ends up repressing you. Then you're not happy.
So you felt like this as a young child, did you?
Yeah.
You feel like that you couldn't be yourself and you couldn't express yourself?
Yeah, partly. Not just because of other people, but because of me as well. Like, there were certain things I wanted to do or certain things I wanted to wear, but I wouldn't because I would think that I looked silly in them, or I would look silly looking like this or dressed like that. So that I had a lot of self-judgment, and that put me off. But then where did the self-judgment come from? Something in me, or something must have happened that I maybe can't even remember that created self-judgment in me.
So how did you deal with it?
Pardon?
How did you deal with all of those feelings as a young
drugs. I got stoned out my face a lot. Alcohol, drugs, music was a good one. But I loved music anyway, but I suppose you do use things to escape stuff. Yeah, drugs, I suppose. I got into cannabis, got into ecstasy. Later on, I got into cocaine. Yeah, it's funny. And even, again, another thing I was thinking about today, like how we use stuff. You know, everyone's on a little journey. You still all have our little traumas and our things come up. And I remember yesterday, I thought, I can't remember what it was that come up, and I thought, I feel like having a drink. And I thought, why would I want to drink? Why would I want alcohol? Well, just to maybe suppress something that's coming up, because everything's coming up. Whether you're a therapist, whether you're whatever, things are coming up for everyone, even more so now.
Especially now.
And the more real deep-rooted stuff is coming up, the really deep-rooted stuff. And then we'll try and find ways to get out of it sometimes, because we don't want to sit in it because it can be painful. And then we may find ourselves wanting to do certain things like, I'll have a drink to suppress it. And that's the worst thing you can do, because alcohol already affects your liver. And then if it's a suppressed thing that makes you feel angry, then that's even worse, because you've got the double, that alcohol affects your liver, and also anger from the suppressed emotion affects your liver. And then you're going to use the alcohol that already affects your liver to suppress that energy which affects your liver. That particular trait of anger. So it's just not
the liver is the seat of the emotions.
Exactly.
Yeah. And all addictions are just hiding the void inside, as you said. It could be anything. It could be drinking, eating. With me, it was food. So we all have different types of addictions to hold back rather than facing and confronting. And now we're in a space where we have to deal with everything because of this down and because of the way things are. So you must be very strong then, because how did you come out of this? I mean, how long did you have these addictions, would you say? Actually practice
up until
actually leads to another, you know.
But no, about, so I'm 37 now. 27 would be 10 years. It would be about 24, 25. I stopped smoking. I stopped a lot of things at once: alcohol, cannabis,
How old were you then?
eating meat.
How, at the same time?
Yeah, and it sent me a bit sort of schizophrenic for a moment. I basically stopped everything that I was using as a crux or whatever. And the reason I stopped is because I was had kids. and I didn't want to carry on. I remember when I first had them, I was doing all sorts, and it's like, and I would have bad anger issues, and you can't be doing that around your kids. You can't be acting like that around them. So that was the reason I stopped, and then that opened up a whole another avenue, because you're stopping something which was suppressing things. I remember I'd stop because I'd have like heart palpitations. I'd be doing lots of cocaine, and I'd have like heart palpitations. I'd have panic attacks. Summer.
Hang on, I'm pausing. Okay, right, we're back. So you were telling me you basically stopped these addictions because you wanted to be a better dad.
Yeah.
Because in a way, you know, Tony Robbins talks about addictions and pain, and he says when the pain is too strong, or when you have something more important than the pain, you can conquer that pain. But it takes that mindset. It takes that something that is more important to you than the addictions. But it's a very brave thing to do, to be able to just stop. I mean, you know.
Hard.
Cold turkey.
Everything comes up that you were suppressing. Boredom, frustration, anger, issues of self-worth, issues with like major ones I had around still getting over, really, ones involving like masculinity. Am I good enough? Do I look manly enough? Do I act manly enough? And that's a big one when in connection with like being doing therapy work and doing this sort of stuff, because it's all classed as airy fairy or more feminine and soft. So that really gets you to have to push past caring about what people think about you, whether they think you're all of what you feel like you're not enough of, basically.
That's a really interesting point, Paul, because there are a lot of men that are waking up at the moment, and I've had chats to a few of them. They don't understand. The heart chakra is opening, and they cry, and they're starting to feel their feelings. So what advice can you give them as you've been through all of this? What would you suggest they deal with all of this?
Just be yourself. It's like, I mean, even today, I'm having a bit of a day today where I suppose I can feel emotion coming up, because as I'm talking to you, I can still feel stuff like in my heart of what things I'm going through at the moment, because it's always coming up, and I don't like the idea of pretending that we're beyond everything. We need to put across this approach that we're beyond everything, that we're here just as a teacher or just someone helping. Like even Tony, a life coach has a life coach. Everyone's me. It's all about just being honest and being truthful and stop hiding. Like you know, I could sit there now and think I could see like my body language is a bit like that. Well, that's how I feel today.
So what?
So what's the point of me putting on like an act of like, hey, that's not being truthful. I want people to be truthful. I want people, if they feel, whatever they feel, just express it. And it doesn't, but don't always, you know, how people are going to respond to you. They might get annoyed, but that doesn't matter. You've got to express how you've got to express. You're expressing yourself, or letting out your stuff may bring a reflection of a load of attacks at you, or may bring whatever, but that's the echo. That's the bit that you've got to try and get through. They're there to help you feel even more, you know, like we've had ourselves and we've had it with each other, like when we've reflected that feeling of self-worth in each other, or and you need to go into it sometimes. And the reason someone's doing it to you, because a part of you is on a subconscious level is obviously wanting it from them, for you to dip that low. It's like sometimes you need to go really low to come out of it, and everyone around you will do that for you. As much as at the time you think, how can you do that? How can you make me feel like that? Well, they can only reflect what a part of you is feeling like and wanting, and it's almost like it gets louder and louder and louder until you completely let go. Which I know, for example, yourself, I know you went through that big time earlier in the end of last year and the beginning of this year, and but the shift is massively obvious to people who know you.
Thank you. Basically, because we're all mirrors and teachers.
Yeah.
We're all reflecting. But isn't it the synchronicity beautiful today?
Yeah.
That I wanted to see you. I wanted to see the real Paul McDonald, the real person without any masks. And that's what's coming through. And that's beautiful to say, because it's so important. But where do you think you picked it all up? I mean, you weren't born to think, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not manly enough, I'm not whatever. And it's like people from the outside, they see you as this gorgeous being, this really talented, amazing man. From the out, we can see you like that. We see you as this really positive, this really intelligent being that is put together with Cecile, this beautiful positive space that we can come into, as you say, how grateful I am, a place to express all my grief, and where I was just picked up the floor. Why can't we see ourselves as that person? Who told us that we're not amazing? What do you think? Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. It's just sort of, do you know what? It's what I've been asking myself, to be quite honest.
You weren't born like that. So what messages did you pick up?
I don't know.
Who gives you these? I mean, when you think about it.
I've always, from the minute I can remember, from the moment I can remember, I've always been strangely, well, I can only speak for myself because I don't know people's minds, obsessively thinking. It is like, so for me, born like that. For me, I can never remember feeling. I can never ever remember feeling content. There was always a wanting to do something. There was always, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain the feeling. It was obviously like a precursor to do what I'm doing now. And not that I advocate what I'm saying right now, but sometimes maybe something is there, a discomfort is in there to create change. I was reading this book called E.T. Explorers, and it was talking about, in this book, about using discomfort as an impetus for change. And it makes sense. And if, for example, there's various people I know who have had discomforts in their life, or they've had issues inside of them, and because of that, it's made them go into doing and learning and going and getting into all sorts. I mean, one bloke is into many different things, real highly intellectual things. He does, I won't say what, but he does all sorts, where he's helping a lot of people, where he's all sorts to do with helping people, to do with an expert and a sport, to all sorts of stuff. And he's done that, he's learned all them things because he's had to find something to help him maybe mask or put aside or repress certain things he does. But if you were to look at it on a bigger picture, outside of himself, everything that he's done, how that's helped other people, and it's almost like these discomforts have helped him do stuff that's helped other people. But if he didn't have them discomforts there, he maybe have just stuck with been happy sitting there in a garden, you know, doing nothing. So it's almost, if you look at things on a broader, or whatever the word, a wider, broader scale, I can't think of the word I'm trying to use. It's almost like how negatives and positives serve each other sometimes.
You're saying, in a way, sorry, you're saying that everything we go through molds us.
Yeah.
Makes us into that person that we need to be now in the awakening. In the
I mean, for me, for example, I've tried loads of different modalities of healing, and then some of them will work, some won't, and then I always think, we are going to the allotments to steal summer with.
Hang on a second. I can carry on.
So I can't remember where I was at.
Well, we were saying that everything molds us. Everything you've been through, all the difficult experience that we go through, it molds us into the person we are, because we're coming into a new consciousness, and only certain people will be able to go with us. And I think we've got to go through certain things in life to wake up.
It's like,
without that, I don't think you can, you know, unless you were born awake.
when I sit there and think that I wanted a centre that can help people, but I want to help people in many different ways, and I don't think there's one set way for one person. And I never like routine, because I don't think routine helps an individual. And I think people either need to go in themselves and really work on themselves using their own intuitive nature, which goes on to the stuff I do, or there needs to be many different ways. I don't believe you should just have one way of following things, but some people might like to. So I've been watching people for years. I watch stuff online. I watch how other therapists do things. I try and look at things. I try and look at, well, it works for that, but then I look purposely for flaws in things, because I want to question how things work, and if there's the positive of it, but I want to look for the negatives, because there always is going to be opposites of stuff. And some people could say, oh, you shouldn't do that, but I think it's served me. So my thinking, analytical mind, which cursed me a lot when I was younger, has served me for what I'm doing now, because it's made me look at every aspect of something. Like, does it work? Where doesn't it work? How doesn't it work? What's the negative knock-on effect? So I'm trying to work out, like, the best forms of healing, how it works, where it could go wrong. But so it's helped me decipher and find a broad range of different healing techniques and different methods and different stuff. So if one thing don't work, another approach works.
I totally agree. Yeah.
And the centre that we've got, which is a holistic healing centre, I want it to come from that angle. Like, I want to have the different people there doing different things. Some people come in, for example, we get people what I call yoginis. A lot of the yoga women, they'll come in. We'll have shamanic people. We'll have the goddess women who come in and they like to do things that are very feminine or orchestrated. Or you'll have people who do Reiki, or life coaches, or people into food health, people into corporate life coaching. So you'll have so many different types, and sometimes you have to learn to almost mimic them all to be able to talk on their level. Otherwise, it's no good when you've got someone who's coming from a corporate background and I start talking about the airy fairy angelic side of things. Because healers, you've got so many different types of healing. You've got your clinical NLP type of healer. You've got your new age angel energy healer. You've got the shamanic healer who relies on Mother Earth and Mother Nature. They're all, you know, if you look into it all, it's all exactly the same thing. It's just being issued or being formulated or orchestrated in a particular way to suit a particular mindset. You've got very earthy people. You've got very mind-orientated people. As we were talking with Mick yesterday, some people you have to approach from a mental, logical point of view. Some people you have to approach from a purely energetic point of view, or some people from a very heart space. So there's so many different ways of attacking inner demons. Some people are very restricted. So you've got a nice, not a light approach of soothing music and just safety. Other people, they want details. They want to know how to understand something logically, whereas some people like just feeling through intuition.
But it's people, sorry to stop you there.
Yeah.
Because some people need tough love, as we know. And some people, tough love actually works really well. But we're all different. And as you say, but it's really interesting that with this new awakening, people are coming together regardless of their healing modalities.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying, but people seem to be connecting this huge light that has come onto the planet. This new consciousness is people with different modalities, different healing types. They're all coming together. It's kind of like dark against light. Do you understand what I mean? They're not, because it's like we have this one focus that we want to take away something that isn't good for us. So we've all come together, and a lot of our issues, like even between us, issues have gone. Because people are connecting. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
In such a big way, we know we have to do that in order to save our planet and humanity. We've let go of a lot of the issues.
I suppose we've let go of a lot of issues inside ourselves. You know, like stuff that, I don't know. Let's use us as a friendship, for example. Certain things which I may trigger you, or you may trigger me. We're having to let go of them because they were things to do with self-worth, or am I good enough, or someone, you know, whatever, needing attention and all that, and we sort of help each other get over it until it's gone. They're slowly fading away, thankfully. Not, you know, there's obviously still stuff there. We've got a long way to go of deep conditioning and traumas, as whatever our disharmonics in us still bring up. But,
sorry, so we're talking about your work at the Positivity Center, but I just want to go back again a little bit, because as I say, this is what fascinates me, is when was your first spiritual experience? Can you actually recall that? Can you go back and recall when you would say the shift happened? Because we all have a shift.
It's funny you say that. I remember as a kid, I'd watched. Right, I need to readdress it. When I started getting into, I remember I had a stage where I got into Hinduism, and that was after I stopped the drugs and things. Or was it? I can't remember now. Anyway, there was a point where I got into Hinduism, and that got me into Krishna, and I was coming at spirituality from a religious point of view. And I remember I had these amazing meditations on Krishna. They were like, I remember having feelings of expansion and feeling like I was everything and nothing at the same time. Literally felt like I was universes. I could feel I was the size of universes.
Sorry, can I just ask, sorry, Paul, was this before you gave up?
No, this was
when you were younger.
No, because I was doing I was mixing both at the same time, so it wasn't. Okay. I thought it was, but it wasn't. And that was when I was about. Well, Shannon, my daughter's 17 and I'm 38, so she was about 3 years old. What, about 23 maybe? 22, 23, 24, around that age. And I had that, I remember I was in my bedroom and I remember having one real strong Kundalini awakening, and it was just before I had a driving lesson. And yeah, that one good. I didn't bring myself back down again. Went out into a driving lesson, span out into the universe. Yeah, it was cool. But it was more the one where I had this expanse feeling. But that wasn't the first time I had it. It was when I had it afterwards. I sat there and I thought, I knew I've had this feeling before, and I remembered that I used to feel that. But I didn't realise it was a spiritual experience. I remember when I was must have been about 7 or 8, or not, between 7 and 10, maybe 6 and 10, I would watch Star Wars, and then I would go upstairs, and I remember I would like close my eyes, and it was the end of Star Wars, you know, at the end of, or the beginning, the end of Star Wars, where you've got space, when you've got the lines going through it, like time, warp speed sort of lines. And at the end, it used to move up like that with the credits, like it was in space. And I remember I wanted to sort of mimic that, and I remember I'd close my eyes, and I would see something like that with my eyes, and then I would push lightly on my eyes, and I'd start seeing all these, it was like blackness, but then there would be these white little flicks.
Yeah, I did that.
Shapes and lines.
Yeah.
And then
I don't understand when you close your eyes. How can you actually see it?
yeah, it was strange. And I remember I would then go under the cover, and I'd put myself in complete blackness, and I was meditating. I was just concentrating on the blackness that I could in my eyes, or that I couldn't see nothing. I would concentrate on just that, and I remember having that feeling back when I was about 6 or so. I was having these expanded states of consciousness at the age of 7 years old without realizing what. And I remember having this sort of like whoop feeling that you get when you're asleep. Sometimes you get that feeling where you feel like you've dropped. Like that. And it would make me. I remember thinking, "Whoa, I feel a bit weird, or I felt dizzy or disorientated, but not knowing what I was doing."
So that was probably
the
first. It's really strange you should say that, because as a child I used to do that a lot, and I kept seeing beautiful colors and shapes and patterns, and I kept thinking, well, how can I see them? My eyes are closed. And so but I never, related to it the same way as you did. I just colors and things.
I just remember thinking there was some connection between wanting us about Star Wars and space. I remember having experiences where I would sit there and think, what's, like we've got God. God's created everything. And then I would think, well, who created God? And I'd really, and I'd really feel into it. And I remember it was like, whoa, I'd freak out. I had a bit of a panic attack because it was so strange. And I remember thinking, well, like what created life? Well, what was before life? And then I'd have that sort of really lucid feeling where it's almost like I questioned myself out of this matrix of what I don't use matrix in the terms of like this system. I mean matrix in the terms of the life illusion. It's almost like I jumped outside of that safety net of general life of going along, and I remember I think, whoa, what is life? What's outside the planet? Space. Well, what's space inside of? And it would be like, when you really feel that thought, what's inside, it really opened your mind up. I think that is maybe sort of where a lot of things started. Now I look back, because once you have them sort of realizations or them sort of moments, you can't go back. You open up something. I'm not sure what. You open some sort of thought process up, or subconscious thought process up, or whatever we are. You expand some sort of state of awareness in you just from that one thought, and then it's always there. And then I suppose it makes you question everything then.
So obviously you couldn't talk to your friends about this.
It was more like that in like moments where I'd be sat. I remember I'd be sat in a certain seat. I remember being sat in my, like when you have your designated seat with your mum and dad in your house, that they have. It'd be my mum's seat when she wasn't there, or I remember being sat there, and just remember being sat in my mum's chair and having that experience, thinking, who created God, or what's outside of space? Where does that stop? Freak out. And I don't know why it freaked me out. That's one thing I'm curious, why it freaked me out. Why does that freak us out? When we get to something where we go, why do we freak out?
Why do you think so?
Don't know. It's almost like because you lose an identity thing. And I think,
even as a child, why would it freak you out as a child when you start to get these experiences? because you can't analyze it the same way as you could as an adult. But then you just have to go on Facebook now and you can join a group. What could you do when you were that age? You know,
Yeah, exactly.
difficult. Well, it was different then, wasn't it?
Just left with it in my own head. It's not something.
Yeah.
It wasn't at that age. I didn't like sort of go out and really talk about it. But then I remember like stuff like supernatural stuff, like ghost stories and things being really like mysterious. And then now, you know, I got to a stage where I started going into mediumship stuff, and it's almost like I look back now and think, why did I ever find that scary? Or most people believe in stuff like that, but they don't. They believe in it from a very. It's almost like an internal knowing, but then they won't look into it anymore. They won't. How would you explain it? Everyone believes in ghosts, or most people believe in ghosts, but they're more from a mysterious humour, or I can't explain it. They believe into it until it really gets into it, and then they go, "Oh no, it's rubbish." But everyone has an inkling. It's a bit like when people get close to death's doorstep, and then they'll believe in God. Then, as if there's a slight bit of belief in people, even if they don't believe in stuff. There's some dormant bit in them that does know that there's more.
Okay, so what do you believe happens when you die?
What do I believe happens when you die?
Yeah.
You've got to. You're not just this body, are you? You can't be.
Do you believe this inside? Is there anything that you can
prove it?
That you believe, not that you just think or other people have told you? Cause
No, it's more of a case of when you have experiences of like, for example, when I got into mediumship stuff, I used to be into a mediumship circle or self-development circle to do with psychic awareness or telepathic stuff, and exercising that's what you do when you're in the circle. You focus on exercising it, getting yourself more receptive, more sensitive to feeling stuff through self-awareness, through meditation, through journeying, through asking each other questions, it's almost like self-awareness exercises, stroke, what do they do in scientific labs? Evidence tests. So you'll be testing each other through stuff, asking questions. For example, I remember doing an open platform once where you go up and you sort of try mediumship. I remember saying to a woman, "Oh, you was in London at a birthday and you fell. It was near Trafalgar Square." I said, "And you had an accident. You sort of twisted your ankle because she was wearing these big high heels." And she said, "Yeah." And another time with Cecile's, my partner's friends in France, I'll give him a reading, and I remember telling him stuff about a fight he had with his best friend when he was younger, something to do with his nan, a particular mirror he had in his house, or loads of different stuff. And it was all true. And it was more of a test at the time, just to see how it works. And it wasn't, I've never been so bothered like, well, look what I can do. It was more to get them to realise that it's possible. And yeah, so you sort of got to ask yourself, how do I know that? If I'm part of this physical body, how do I know, or how can I dip into something that happened to this bloke when he was younger? Or, for example, my mum, she had an experience, I can't remember what time it was when the Olympics were on a few years ago.
about that.
She watched something that wasn't on until live 2 days later, 3 hours of TV. She sat up all at night watching it. Told my dad the next day that the blonde woman won on the Olympics. And my dad went on to tell her it couldn't have. It ain't on until live tomorrow. And she says, well, I bloody watched it. And anyway, the next day or 2 days later, they watched it live. And I ended up commentating moment by moment the next 3 hours before it happened. So how can I pick up on something?
Isn't it? Sorry, that's like time travel.
Yeah, but it's outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's outside of you. Like you're picking up on stuff outside of you that's not you, that's not in your physical body. You know, you're witnessing and picking up. Or, for example, you would talk to someone about someone who's passed away, and you talk about certain ailments or certain feelings or things that the person had wrong with them. Okay, and you know it because you get given the feeling to feel yourself very slightly, or you'll get a slightly heady feeling. You'll think, oh, the person had they suffered with headaches, for example, or extreme headaches. You could be willy-nilly and say, well, everyone does, but it would be stuff that was very prominent, like someone who would suffer with a particular thing often. So you put that across to them, and then they'll end up saying, yeah. Well, how do you know that?
Basically, you're clairsentient because you feel. But the thing is, you're an empath and you're clairsentient. How does it make you feel when you know all this incredible stuff and people can't take it on board? Does it really? It must really frustrate you.
I suppose that's been part of the. That's been part of the thing, really. Part of the. I don't like using the word problem, but I suppose in the past, that's been part of the problem, and even to a degree now, it can be like that. For example, I remember having one morning where I felt absolutely rubbish. I felt terrible, and I remember saying to my partner, I want to get. I mean, luckily she knows what I'm about and what I do, so she sort of rides along with it. I remember saying to her one morning, "Oh, get away from me!" And I just said to her, she was sat opposite me, and I said, I just want to push you and push you and push you away. I mean, that's a negative experience in a way, perceived negative. And I remember saying to her, I want to push you and I want to just keep pushing you away, like pushing. And then like half hour later, my brother phones up and says that his girlfriend's just give birth. So what happens when you're giving birth? The mum really just wants to push that baby out. Or I had it where I felt terrible, really terrible, and then I was told that my mum and dad said their dog had died. It's just, I mean, people could say, oh, well, they could say that for anything, but I've had it where I remember a particular day saying, oh, I felt really trapped, really trapped inside myself. It was a suffocating feeling, and someone went on, I don't have a TV, so I don't watch the news, and I don't want to. A friend of mine told me, oh, well, a load of Chinese people were in a lorry. They stuck in a lorry, suffocated. So it's almost like the more you connect yourself or become aware of your connection with everything, the more you feel everything. But then consciousness is a broad thing. Like I said, if I picked up from stuff in the past, my mum's picked up from stuff in the future, then that goes to show that future at some level already exists because she's experienced it before it happened. And that goes to say, well, if stuff in the future has already happened, and my mum's picked up on it through a visual element and watched it visually, you can't pick up and experience the sensation and feeling happen. So sometimes you experience stuff that are to do with your direct life, yet you'll sit there and you may associate that feeling with something that's going on in your
life. Well, connected.
Yeah.
Basically connected. And I mean, I've had experiences like that. You know, my mum had died. It was very strange. I just an audition for Britain's Got Talent, I think, and for some I sang You'll Never Walk Alone, which was my mum's favourite. And then I walked out of there and I knew I died. I knew.
Yeah.
And my husband called me and said, "You just died." I know what you mean. You pick stuff up, you feel a bit, because you're an empath and because we're all so connected. So it's very interesting what you said about people do get that. You know, we can't control the emotion we get. So if you feel when you're around somebody, around someone, I be here, I don't want them here, I want to push them away. Something coming up, they're showing you something as well about yourself that you can deal with. Maybe they're trying to wake up inside you.
Yeah.
So
sometimes
how do you use that for people? As I say, a lot of people waking up are going all over the place. I mean, look at it. The news is throwing at them. confusion, everything's coming up at the same time. So what would be to people, newly awakened people that are getting triggered all over the place, because you know how that feels. I know how I deal with it. How do you deal with it?
Going back to what I started talking about earlier, I suppose using modalities, but me, I'm all about like using your own. Like your body knows how you need to deal with something. Your body's got its own conscious intelligence. It knows how to get you out of something, but you've got to ask it. It's almost like it's a lesson for you, and it's a lesson for you to go through to experience how you're going to deal with something, and it won't help you until you've helped, because it is a lesson about how you're going to react to something. It must be, because I can't see evolution quite being the case, because if the future's already happened, there's nothing to evolve to. So it's almost like you're not going to really change anything, but you can change. With the future's already happened, how can you change it? But you can change your perception of things. It's such a vast thing. Once you start getting into consciousness, it's deep land. But just from that one aspect, I mean, this isn't the absolute truth what I'm saying, because there's a whole other different areas or ways of looking at it. But for example, if something's already happened and you can't, it's going to happen the way it's going to happen. You can't change how it's going to happen, but you can change how you perceive it, and by changing it and how you feel and experience it. So, for example, I'm having a certain thing happen. I call it like an echo in time, basically. That's always going to happen, but each time you sort of deal with it in a different way. So, for example, something comes up which triggers a certain feeling in me, and which my neurology knows that particular feeling and links that with other past stuff. Then I'll start going into a whole extreme of all different experiences, and it will all get out of hand. Oh, feelings of self, everything, any memory or anything related to that particular negative feeling will start shooting off in my head. And then it becomes a whole load of different stuff. And then I start attaching that to do with all stories in my head. But that's when you start going into your head, into thought patterns. So the best way is to get out of that is to go into a moment. And the best way to go into the moment for me is it's almost like an internal NLP in a basis of like neuro-linguistic programming, which is you stop that neural pathway before it like goes crazy. And the best way to do that,
is that where your music comes in?
For me, yeah, because music, when I do music, I'm so in the music, I'm not thinking anymore. It's just purely about feeling. And then I can also, if I've got a negative feeling, I channel that into the music. And then by channeling it into the music, I sort of not only stop that particular feeling, I use it to feed. It's almost like energy's energy, and I'll use that emotion to feed whatever music I'm creating. And I always have it in my head that whatever I'm creating is positive. So even if I'm having a negative feeling, it's going to be used to create a positive outcome.
Yeah. So is that the answer, Paul, to find your talents and your creativity,
so.
to be able to deal with these blocks and
a lot of the blocks
or these emotional things coming up?
Oh, I'm butting in, didn't I? It almost comes like full circle. It's like the very things that give you your issues are the very thing that you use to get out the issues, which is all about self-expression. It's basically we're learning to completely express and embody our absolute pure being, which is when in present moment being is being yourself and expressing yourself exactly how you need to in the most productive, positive way possible. And if you don't do that, you feel stagnant. And then because you feel stagnant, you feel resentful. Then you get annoyed at people. Then you project it because maybe people who do that. And you'll feel jealous. Then you'll feel upset because and then it goes down. just goes in a vicious circle. So be yourself as much as possible, and which then goes on to what it is I do with being yourself. The whole idea of what I do is sort of getting people to go into their intuition, to learn about themselves, to feel what they feel inside, to let up all of the rubbish that isn't them, which has created blocks in them. And once they let that out, then it almost sort of, as they let the stuff out that's blocking them, it's almost like their real self is tethered behind it, and that comes through afterwards. So they've unblocked all of that stuff, all that stagnancy, all that conditioning, all of that repression. Then the real them can come through. But then you've got to work on. Then they may have like embarrassments, they may have fears. So it's about getting them back into their body, out of their head, which is saying and thinking fear, thinking embarrassment, thinking about, oh, what about this, what about that? Stay in your body, stay in your breath, get out of your mind and just express and feel and be and do. And then the more they nourish that, the more they tend to that, the more they strengthen and empower that until it becomes a natural thing to be themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, what I love about your work is it's very similar to the way I work, as you say, because people are different and everyone needs something different. So you have the music, which is part of an aspect that you work with, and then you work with light and sound and vibrations. But I love when you combine everything together and you do your medicine man thing that I call, your shaman thing, where you literally heal using the light, the sound, the vibrations, the singing. You go up and down the chakras, and it's just an incredible experience. But so how do you feel about using that with people, different types of people? How can you use all those incredible skills and talents? Because as we say, different people are different and unique. And so how can you, the word I'm looking for is, how can you create something that is going to be effective for everyone, but maybe in a different way? Do you know what I mean? Like, tailor it. How can you tailor it?
Well, this is
that's what I'm trying to ask.
This is exactly what my whole emphasis of tailoring and intuition with people. I don't want to teach, I want to hold space for allowing people to find their own technique. So it's about, and I call it biodynamics. I've sort of labelled it and called it. It's like the word
biodynamics. Did you say?
Biodynamics. It's a bit of a word
What
play.
does that mean?
It's a bit of a word play. Bio, which you've got, bio means life. Have you know when you've got about biology, biochemical. Biophysical, like everything comes under that term bio. Bio means life, basically, and to me, life stands for, the LIFE. For me, is logical, intuitive information for everyone. Logical and intuitive, because they've both got the yin yang thing. They've both got their for everyone, and everyone's got it within them. So my whole emphasis is to get people into exploring and becoming aware of their own self modalities, which is the whole process of it. Everyone's got it in them. Everyone's connected to the same source. Everyone's got that intelligence, that consciousness in them. So everyone's got their own way of doing things. And that was for years. I wasn't happy with anything, because I thought, I don't like that. I don't want to do that because I don't just like doing that. I'll read a book and think, loads of people I know, they'll read a book and then they can't match everything in that book, and they'll get frustrated and think there's something wrong with them. And then they'll get onto another book and do the same thing and think, well, maybe you're supposed to just take a little bit from that book, a little bit from that, a little bit from that person, because that's what you need. Because you're not just that. You're not their story. When someone shares, if I was to share a book called Dynamics by Paul McDonald, that's not going to resonate with everyone. Because that's as a whole thing, that's my thing. But I'm going to share that to inspire other people. But then they may take 2 pages out of it, which they need. They may take 2 pages out of a Tony Robbins book, 2 pages out of an inspiration from your material. And that, what's the book you're in?
Stay sane. Oh, sorry, Simply Amazing.
Simply Amazing. That's the one. Let's plug it. Good.
They sell it at the shop. Don't worry, I already told people.
I'll tell them again. So people like.
Chapter 8.
But that way you're formulating. That's what we all do. We take little bits of information, take stuff, and we accumulate our own belief system. And it is our belief system. You could say it could be others, but you're taking a reflection of what you believe. But you don't have to be everything. You don't have to resonate completely everything with like Muji or with Dr. Wayne Dyer or this and that. You've been inspired to what you get inspired with, and anything outside of that isn't meant for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. You need to find you're okay with what you want, and don't think you've got to be this person or be that structure. It's basically about helping people find their own sort of self-tailoring.
So you basically see people holistically. You're looking at their mind, their body, their spirit, their stress levels, their past. When they can see you, because your intuition is so strong, you probably already see them and you think, oh, I know what that person needs. I know, because you've got such a strong intuition already.
This is the thing with like there's stuff I want to do on group level, which is the biodynamic stuff, which are group classes, but that's different. That's a group thing. We can do one-to-one. But when it comes to like a hands-on therapy or session, it's always completely different. And I always like the idea. I don't like going with a set modality, because that isn't always good. I want to be completely present with what consciousness needs at that time and moment. And you can't get any more focused and stronger than the conscious flow and needs of what the person needs at that particular time. And if you stay open, I've practiced and got certifications in Reiki and other things, but they may need more than that. So I just allow myself over the years to grow open to as many different healing modalities, which my body naturally is capable of doing. And so I allow myself just to be an open reflection of what they need, an open channel of completely what they need. And I won't distinguish, or I won't, what's the word I'm using? I won't put anything aside. For example, someone may come in and they're different to the person who came in half an hour ago, and the format would be slightly different. There may be someone who comes in for some healing, and I always ask people, what number do you want? What light do you want? And I ask them to go with their intuition, because their intuition knows what they need.
This is the bed.
Yeah, this is all of it. You've got 3 different sectors. You've got the light, the lucid light. You've got the vibroacoustic therapy bed, and you've got the music that I do and the healing that I do. They're all separate things, but people can have them all together.
It's a water bed. It's a water bed. It's conducive.
You've got the vibroacoustic therapy is basically, like you said, it's a water bed, but it's a heated water bed. So you really penetrate you. I mean, like you said,
it's lovely and warm.
It's lovely, and you've got that floaty feeling. It's almost like a dry flotation tank. It's a dry flotation tank, but it's even more different because you've got the wobble in it. When you're in a tank, you're in the water, but this thing you're on top of the water, so you've got that.
Yeah. Because when you go into flotation tank, you could be, if you're claustrophobic. I can't go in one of those because if you're claustrophobic, it's a bit scary. But when you lie on that bed, you're just in a room and it's wide open, so there's nothing to be worried about. So.
Exactly, and you don't get wet. You don't have to be in the dark. It's a slightly different feeling as well, and the fact you can't. Well, I suppose you can have vibration in the tank, but it's vibration. The vibration that's the most important thing. You're getting it's basically, so it's a vibroacoustic table. So you've got a vibroacoustic table where you've got the sound coming through vibration, and the bed is made out of a very acoustic wood that really carries the vibration. Then on top of the bed, you've got a liquid water bed. A liquid water bed. It is liquid. You've got the heated water bed, which they call the liquid sound bed, and that. So you think you're on that bed, it's warm, it's already penetrating the body anyway. It sort of wraps itself around her because you're sinking into it a bit, and then the vibration comes through, and it carries that vibration throughout. Your skin is your biggest organ. It's one big organism all over your body, and it is an organ. So you think every part of your skin is taken in and being penetrated by that particular vibration. And that could be any vibration. That could be for anxiety. That could be for invigoration, because it's the vibration that, in particular, what you need is the main thing. So not only do you feel relaxed through the general vibratory experience, you also get that particular vibration which you chose. And there's different vibrations. There's different frequencies. Some of them are for confidence, some are for focus, some for empowerment. So your body's being penetrated and with that particular frequency of vibration, which is a particular brainwave state.
So, you're in very good company because President Trump is talking a lot, particularly about light and how healing light can be. So can you explain to us, how does the light and sound work? I mean, why does it work? What's the principle behind it?
It basically works on changing or creating a particular brainwave pattern, a particular brainwave, like you've got a brainwave state. Like you've got Schumann frequency, which is what the Earth resonates at, what they call the Schumann frequency. I can't remember quite what it is, 500 something, 70.
Yeah, Jordan Safer talks a lot about
and maybe I'm wrong about the particular resonance, but it's easy enough to look it up if you Google it, the Schumann frequency. And the Earth vibrates at that particular frequency, and our hearts should match that particular frequency. But there's so many electrical appliances and things and electromagnetic things going on with phones and with a lot of stuff that we do need to a degree. But as is everything, you've got the negative and positive. And what it's done is it's took us out of our natural vibrational state. Even women who wear high heel shoes, you're not connecting so much with the vibration of the earth. If you're walking barefoot, you feel more connection with the earth because you've got the electromagnetism. You're closer. Your skin has got that. You've got the electronics in your skin. You connect with the earth. And when you look at like deer and animal when they're out in the field, they're so content. We always look at deers and animals and you think, how can they be happy just sat there in a field? Well, because they're not in their head. They're just
cats. You just have to look at them.
Yeah.
People all the time.
Because they're connected. They're out barefoot. More so wild animals because they're connected barefoot with nature, with the earth. Okay. And then you've got the core of the earth, which is a magnetic part of nature that basically draws them down into the heartbeat.
So it grounds. So basically you're saying that the light and the sound keeps you more grounded, more connected to the earth.
it can do whatever you.
Feel better in the body.
Well, it can do whatever you need, really, because it creates particular frequencies. So you can have ones for either focusing, because they've obviously, the person who's created these particular technologies, they've worked out through testing and through experience, I suppose, they've worked out what particular, for example, when someone's focused, that may be a particular frequency. Or when someone's more receptive, that's a hypnagogic state. And the hypnagogic state, I think, don't hold me on this, is it may be the theta state. You've got alpha, theta.
All right. So you go into trance in some
Yeah.
way, and then the body can relax a lot more. So what conditions can you heal? I'm not saying healing. What conditions can you support with the light and sounds?
Anxiety.
What would you say?
You can help anxiety because you can relax people. The breathing gets more relaxed. The mind slows down. They're in a more relaxed, meditative state where they can just go into their body and get out of their mind, which is a massive thing for some people. Some people who may have insomnia. Insomnia is generally just where the body's holding on to so much stress. They can't sleep because their subconscious is screwing around with them. So again, that's linked with anxiety. So I suppose you have anxiety, and then after so much anxiety and stress and depression, you then get insomnia because it affects your subconscious in your sleep. So you can help with that as well, because you allow the mind to stop, which takes them into a hypnagogic, relaxed state. I mean, many people, including yourself, fall asleep on the bed because they're that relaxed. Sometimes it's awkward because you have to, obviously, if you've got various people coming after, or you've got a time limit, you've got to wake them up. But generally, I'll try and give them like 5 minutes after, as if they do fall asleep. I think I'll let their body really take the nourishment. But then they find that they get better sleep that evening because their body's still in that relaxed state. I think you yourself said the same thing. You've got someone who wanted more focus. This person was a man I know who helps people with logistics, helps people, coaches them on business, and he had a go on it, and he went on a particular setting which was for focus, and he was feeling a bit tired, a bit foggy-headed before he went on it, and it was someone who was actually helping us on a business program, and he went and had a go, and then he come out, and then afterwards he said he felt a lot more sharper, a lot more focused. There's a particular brainwave state for that, which is a very, I don't know if it's stimulating, but it was just a focused one. Then you've got other ones which are good for affirmation. It was a lady we know. She works for a brand, which they sell stuff. They want to sell the brands. They need to really talk the brand to people, but they need to have a lot of confidence for it. I think she worked, I can't remember what company it was for. It was either something like Arborn or Tropic or the one with that cactus. I don't remember the name of it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And she wanted to become a manager, and she said, I want to just have more confidence. And I said, is there anything you would like me to say to you? Because it's one for affirmations, which for affirmations is basically you're more receptive. Your brain state is more receptive for you for believing something and for creating a certain thought pattern in your head. Hence why it says it's good for affirmations on this particular program. So I asked her, is there anything you want me as you're on the bed, your subconscious is going to be more receptive so I can plant seeds. So is there any particular sentence or word you want me to keep suggesting to you? And she said, I want you to keep calling me a diamond manager. I think I went a little bit further than that. I sort of really hyped it up and
in trance, basically. Sorry, Paul, you're going into trance.
Yeah.
Of course, the subconscious is going to be to taking on new ideas.
It's the subconscious, which is the overruling thing a lot of the time. Of seeding and rewiring and changing and planting positive stuff in their subconscious, which it did. And I kept saying, you're a diamond manager, see yourself doing this, see yourself feeling this way. I really went into it with her while she was on the light. And I also had the music for this particular one. There's the music I do as well, and the music was a very uplifting, epic type music. You know, the sort of music you get on one of these life coachings where it's like just uplifting.
And you compose all of this yourself?
Yeah, I create the music as well, which was sequences.
And you sing?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
The different things, again, a bit like the light, I'll do it for different things. I've got stuff that's for bringing up emotion, stuff that's good for invigoration, stuff that's good for putting you in a real spaced out. Some people just want a spacey experience, something out of this world. So stuff for that. There's some more dense, tense music, which is good for putting people into their fear zone so they can really go into their fear and get past it. And it's, but they'll only get what they need. I'll only give what they need. And the session will bring about exactly what people need individually.
That was kind of leading to the next question, which we kind of talked about the other day, is because I feel that when I've gone on there in distress last year, you know, when I had a lot of grief and stuff, after the session, I was completely detached. I felt amazing. But then even if I came off the bed and I didn't feel like that, then I know I can deal with it because I know it's healing. So what would you say to someone who is going through mental health issues? Is there a way to prepare them that they may have what you call, like, you know, the Hexmeister thing, where you get side effect, you can get a healing crisis. I'm probably saying it completely wrong. A healing crisis. Like when you go, you can have reflexology or acupuncture, and then for a few days later, you may not feel that good because your body's adjusting and everything's coming up. So if you got, like, as I'm saying, new people who have anxiety or mental health issues, is it possible that they may get a healing crisis after using the bed? And if so, what would be your suggestion? How do they do it?
Completely possible, because with any healing modality, sometimes you can have something that can be great at the time, but it brings stuff up which needs to come up, that repressed stuff which subconsciously sabotages things. So it's like, you could say, oh, I don't want to go on it then, I'm a bit fearful of that, but do you want subconscious stuff ruling your life, or do you want it up and out the way? It can hurt, but it's a worthy, it's worth going through. And this is where the biodynamic stuff comes into. The biodynamic stuff, for example, it cuts into that, so that would bring stuff up. You'll have hurt. For example, it's not saying it always does, but for example, one case, if it brings something up, you're feeling disharmonious, you're not feeling great, you're feeling painful. Well, then you want to channel that negative energy that you may be feeling and transmute it into something positive, and at the same time you want to change the neurology that's attached to that particular emotion that is brought up. So you're not suppressing it, you're actually using it to feed something creative and expressive. And what I do is with the biodynamic stuff is basically sound and movement, and just really allowing you to go in the moment. For example, you're not feeling great, so you go into your breath, and then you just ask your body to respond and do whatever it needs to do. And it may be particular movements, it may be this, but don't question it, you just go with it. And we've got an electromagnetic field around the body which they call a biofield, and that's connected. It's different. You've got about 7 of these different fields, and they're all different electromagnetic fields, and they're related to do with different chakras in the body. And if it's something that's come up where you've got issues to do with communication, that would be your throat, for example. So that would be to do either you don't communicate enough, or no one listens to you, or you talk too much and but people won't listen. Anything to do with communication issues. That could be stemming from stuff from when you were younger, where someone didn't listen to you when you were 4 years old, and that stuck with you, and then that ends up carrying on a pattern. And then that may be build up and build up and build up, and then when you go on the light or go have a particular healing modality, that brings that up because it needs to come up to be cleared. So you're feeling that particular communication issue. So it may be you need to, for example, you need to clear that through sound. And you just allow yourself to do it. So the whole idea is you just coach people into allowing their body to move in a way that it just needs to move. You may feel like you need to just go, oh, or do that particular tone. Go with it. It may change. You may feel like doing any type of movement. It may not even be a movement. You may suddenly, as long as you're asking your intuition may say, well, start to, I don't know, draw circles on a piece of paper. Just go and do it. Don't question
Creativity.
it. Just go and do it. And don't question it. Just go and do it. And then by doing it, you're getting your it's almost like NLP. You're getting your brain out of what the negative thought pattern. But you're not suppressing the emotion. You're actually, it's almost like you're letting it out through the activity, because this is the idea of it. But you're changing the neurological process that attaches to it, because you're focusing it and releasing at the same time. So it's two pluses, two positives. And for example, with I can't remember where I was going with that now.
We were talking about how people could deal with anything that happens after they come off the bed. But I mean, what I love about your work is you really do know what you're talking about. You really research everything. You understand it, and you can really, really explain it. And it's so important, you know.
Funny you say that. Some people, like, sometimes it's people get lost in the science of it all. It's almost like some people may understand the way I put it, but other people may get lost.
I think the way you put it today is actually quite down to earth.
Yeah, and it's almost, it's quite simple, I suppose. I'm just trying to give it the full explanation of it, but it's just go with an intuitive feeling. All the time, if you feel like you want more energy, ask your body to give you what you need for that, and allow your body to respond in whatever way it wants to. But this is where people get stuck, because it may be that they want to sit, their body may want to respond in coming out of real high-pitched noises, but I don't want to do that. What are people going to think of me?
Again, we're coming back to what are people going to think? And we do need to let go of that. That is one of the biggest things we need to let go of, because in order to heal, I remember a couple of weeks ago when this lockdown started, and I decided to sit with myself, and I was meditating. And the first voice that came up was someone in my family, my sister. And it was, oh, why are you doing that? You know, go and get a job, do this, you know, whatever. And I thought, okay, I get it now. It's someone put this into me and kept going on and on and on at me. And I thought, well, no, I'm not interested. I'm just going to put that aside. I have a right to feel my feelings. I have a right to let this come up. This is my life, not their life. And I think that's what you've got to do now. You've got to let it all come up.
You just got to do it. And this is why the centre is, the whole idea is it's out in the middle of the countryside. We're not in a high street anywhere. We're out in the middle of nowhere. So we've got nature all around us. And in the hall, it really echoes. It really echoes. So you get that good biofeedback. So if you let out something, you get to feel the echo that makes it even stronger. So you really feel what you've let out. And that seems to add to it. And it's a place you can do that. If you've got nowhere where you can't go out in the middle of a field because that everyone walks their dogs, and because at the moment it seems odd, doesn't it, in general society, for someone to be out screaming in the field. You can't do it at home because you don't want to scare your kid or your toddler, because you can't explain it to them, because you just can't, because they associate screaming with pain or with being attacked or whatever. So you need somewhere where you can feel safe enough to completely let go. That's what the Positivity Centre is primarily for, is for you to be able to have somewhere where you can release. I don't care what comes out. I want people to release what they need to release. And if that's a scream at the top of their head, do it.
It's amazing what you're doing. It's a freedom to be able to do that. And
Yeah.
to stop you there, but I was also thinking about if we go back to childhood, when I watch you with Willow and you let her be herself, you know, as a parent, it's just amazing to be able to let a child be themselves, feel their feelings, because that's your way of you and Cecile of parenting, I presume.
Well, she certainly does. It was a bit like we were talking about the other day. She in the middle of the night, she'll scream, she'll wake up and she will release. And a bit like, again, what Mick was suggesting, because she does it, kids do it more in the middle of the night. They call it night terrors, but it's more they're in a more of a, you're in a more of a relaxed state. So all that subconscious stuff, all that collective consciousness stuff that we all pick up on, you're filtering it out, and at night she's in such a relaxed state, it comes up. I think that's what happens, and she releases. I mean, you can't even, the sound is so raw, and she projects it. She purposely, and she's doing it to release.
Does she feel